Alright, so let's get down to business. I've seen Resident Evil Village or 8 or whatever they're trying to call it. They're saying, oh, don't call it 8. I'm calling it 8 because whatever. I'm ticked off already because I already heard that they're going to make Resident Evil 4 remake or reboot. They're talking about, oh, it's a softcore reboot. Shut up. You don't know what anything is. If anyone tells you they're doing a reboot, they don't know what they're doing. They really don't know what they're doing. You don't need to call it a reboot. We know it's not the one from before, really. We know that. Calling it a reboot, hashtag, hash slice, comma splice, whatever. You don't know what you're doing. These people do not know what they're doing, and I refuse to pay a cent for this garbage. When Code Veronica is the original Resident Evil 4, but y'all love Leon so much that you must have a game that already looks like it's updated to be remade. Like, really? It might as well remake Resident Evil 5 at that. And how about you not kill your bread and butter next time, Albert Wesker? I'm so sick of these people, like, making, oh, we need a new villain. No, you don't. No, you don't really. You can have new villains, but the other villain can stay alive, you know? Albert Wesker, a long time coming for his death. It's a really shame. I don't consider Resident Evil 6 to be canon, but honestly, they might as well remake Resident Evil 6 while you're at it. You're remaking a game that doesn't need a remake. You remade 1 through 3 because you knew that was tragic and trash on PlayStation. It was looking blocky, looking like Minecraft, except worse. Code Veronica was in between those games. Code Veronica does not hold up, like, physically, graphic-wise, design-wise. It does not. It just doesn't. It can't compete with everything that we have today. It just can't. Sadly. I love the story, however. I know why they didn't do it, because they don't want to upset people who are transgender. This is really interesting, because I don't think, like, there's a lot of issues when it comes to who you do, like, killing off gays and gay queer baiting and blackfishing and a bunch of stuff that comes into play when Hollywood decides to do anything. You can't just be like, oh, that's just that. You have to actually add context to it. In this context, in Resident Evil Code Veronica, there are moments, but there is one moment that you see a man cross-dress because he is lonely and he misses his sister, who has been, his twin sister, mind you. He has been missing his other half for years. And it appears that they have an incestuous relationship, but it's never really dabbled in. It's just like one moment that you see that they imply it. But there's a lot going on in this game that is great. And I don't think this is the time to be putting down your foot about queer baiting or about cross-dressing. I don't think it's offensive that that man wears a dress. He may not be transgender, and I understand that there are certain things like Psycho where he went crazy, so he cross-dressed, and that has a negative implication. But I don't believe it warrants for you to just ignore it. The least you can do is take it out, and that's the least, because I really don't want you to take it out. Keep the game as it is. Just update the graphics. How about that? Don't add anything. Maybe add the fact that Chris and Claire can be in the same party at the same time instead of just going back and forth with them and not being able to play with them at the same time. They're brother and sister. They should really be on the same team. People just do that. They specifically kept Chris and Claire separated because they look nothing alike. They said, I don't know when they were gonna, since 2 a long time ago, not the remake, 2. She was looking for her brother Chris. But they didn't, I don't know why they didn't make them look similar. They didn't make them look like they're related at all. Like they've got 2 different moms or 2 different dads, or they're just adopted from 2 different families. Like they literally look nothing alike. Their eyes are not the same at all whatsoever. Their hair color's not the same at all whatsoever. Their skin tone's a little different. It's just every single thing that could possibly be different is different about them. So I would recommend you probably changing up what Chris looks like so that Claire, because we already know what Claire looks like from the 2 remake. But the whole thing about it is, do not take out that scene. There's no reason to take out that scene with cross-dressing. Like I said, there are implications, just like in Psycho, that they make it seem like, oh, well, anybody who wears a guy who wears a dress is crazy. No, that's not what it's saying. That's not what it's saying. There are implications that have backup and evidence to show that that's specifically what they're doing. And I never got that from them. Really. So if there's anybody with a problem, like, come speak about it, because honestly, I really don't see the problem. But I know for a fact, 100%, I would put money on it right now this second, that the reason why they're not even touching Resident Evil Code Veronica is because they think they're going to get hackled and cackled and harassed by people who are transgender and gay people. The specific, like, Resident Evil, this video isn't really about Resident Evil 4 remake or Code Veronica remake. This video is about, like I said in the beginning, Resident Evil Village. Now, I don't know who said they wanted Ethan back. Honestly, he was not a very good character. Every character we've ever played as in the Resident Evil franchise, we've been able to see third person. Every character. Every single character. Whether the characters were eventually put into first person via Wii, in Dark Side Chronicles and the Umbrella Chronicles, we've seen them. We know what they look like. This is not a book, like I said. You can't just make up something in your mind. You can't just make Chris Redfield black all of a sudden. You can't just make Jill Valentine Asian. You just can't. We know what these people look like. We know what they're supposed to look like. You can't just make Jill Valentine blonde until she is captured by Albert Wesker. You just can't do that. She has to have brown hair because that's the reference point. So I'm already getting vibes that this is going to be a very bad Resident Evil game. This game looks like a very good game. Too bad you guys love to sell, like I've said in the last video with not Shark Boy and Lava Girl 2 sequel. You totally just sold this game by name. The reason why they don't want us to call it Resident Evil 8 is because they want to see how we react to this, and then they'll make an 8. They're going to try to simultaneously do remakes and keep going in this franchise at the same time, which is stupid. They just want to make money. All of this is about money. Just forget everything. Forget any hypothesis you have. If it's not money, then it's wrong. It's all about money. That's all they want. And which brings me to the reason why I think this is going to be a bad game. And I'm upset about the protagonist. Why are we still talking about Ethan? Why are we still Ethan? We don't know what he looks like. We don't know what he's about. We don't know where he comes from. We know where Rebecca Chambers. We actually don't know anything about Billy. It would have been nice to have Billy in here. We know about Barry. We know about Jill. How come Jill can't get another game? Why are we on the Ethan boat? Why? If you're going to go do callbacks, just like we are in a mansion because we asked for a mansion, we got a mansion. Resident Evil has to have 3 things, all right? Listen closely now. 1, puzzles. 2, zombies. Not people who are infected and can be mind controlled. 5 and 4 were bad. They were bad Resident Evil games. They were just bad Resident Evil games. They were. No one enjoyed 5. And it was unfortunate because that was when Sheva Alomar came into play. The only black protagonist you get to play in this whole series. We never see her again. Why are we, again, like I said, why are we talking about Ethan when we could talk about Sheva? We can talk about Billy Cohen. He's a white guy. Y'all love whiteness. If you love whiteness so much, Billy Cohen. Did he have too much, like, swagger for you? Ethan reminds me of a guy who's slaving away in a cubicle, honestly. We don't know anything about him, so I can make any hypothesis about him I want to. Hopefully this game is going to show or spread some light on Ethan. All I know about him is he's going to be in love with his wife no matter if she tries to kill him or not. And I understand that she was under some whatever, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter, really. Oh my gosh, this game is going to be so bad for Resident Evil, man. Y'all are going to lose money. And here's how they're going to try to keep money. The antagonist, like I was going to talk about earlier, she's a dominatrix type woman. She's really tall. Everyone's talking about how tall she is. A lot of the gay community and the transgender community are literally pushing forward with this woman, and she's kind of like a problem because we're no longer in zombie world, and this is something that people have put up on Twitter and stuff. I've seen from incels, of course, no doubt, but in this sense, I have to agree that this woman is not good for the Resident Evil franchise. I don't care if Nemesis was a girl and just had breasts and was walking around like that. But Nemesis was a mindless creature that was following its programming. What is this? This woman, she's her own agent. They're kind of trying to make another Albert Wesker, which is, like I said, if you didn't kill him in the first place, you wouldn't have to keep coming up with these new villains that you keep killing in every game. Honestly, like when 4 happened, everyone knew 5 was going to kill off Albert Wesker because you made him the Thanos sitting in the chair. Literally, he was sitting in a chair giving orders to Ada Wong in 4. And you want us to see that again remade? Okay. I'm not paying a cent for that, but whatever. Go off. Waste that money. Please, man, just donate all this money to some charity. Like, you guys are wasting so much money on these games. Like, Resident Evil 7 was a good game for it not being Resident Evil. The zombies were way better, but it's insane. Y'all don't... The reason why I have a problem with 7 is because the zombies were just mush. They weren't even unique mush, like in Revelations 1, when you had the regenerators or whatever. Or the progenitors. I don't know what they were called. They were something generators. And they actually had faces. There were like 4 different types. In 7, y'all wasted so much money on the budget to animate everything around. Everything is just a blob. It's just a blob. Like, y'all literally made zombie blobs. And even in Revelations, they had a sense of identity to them, despite there only being 4 models and then the final boss. But 7 just has a bunch of black blobs with claws. I noticed that there were a lot of, like, copies of the zombies that we're going to be facing in this village crap. And they don't seem to be zombies to me. They seem to be their own agents. I didn't see no zombies. I saw looking like vampire things. That's not what Resident Evil is about. And I can get behind anyone who says that for that specific reason. Because I have seen the incels going off about this. And they're just upset because the antagonist is a woman, honestly. They probably were mad about Revelations 2 because of Alex Wesker. Where did Alex Wesker come from? Yeah, where did she come from? Maybe y'all should have made another Resident Evil game explaining where Alex Wesker came from, or where was she the whole time that Albert Wesker was running amok. But y'all don't know how to make games. You just are trying to make money, honestly. Like, I have such little respect for any single person that attaches themselves to these projects. because you don't care about us. You only care about our money. And maybe if you cared about us 1 inch, we would spend our money. Maybe. But I'm going to dedicate the time that I have sparingly to making sure people are aware that this new Resident Evil game is subpar at best. It should, you guys should have called it Resident Evil. The only reason why you're calling it Resident Evil because like I saw Chris in there. So Chris is going to be in there for some reason. Are y'all going to make it to where Chris is like Ethan's father or something? Because that's really going to be disgusting. How did that happen? So is Ethan like Jill's son? And if Jill's not the mother, you already done wrong. Because how do you work with someone for years and years and don't feel an attachment to them? And it's not platonic. It's not. That's not how humans work. You're around someone long enough, a guy and a girl, or if you're gay, a guy and a guy, or a girl and a girl, there's bound to be emotions between you. Especially since the stuff they've been through, the only people that can understand them is each other. You gotta be kidding me. So I'm hypothesizing right now, what is it, 123:21, I think. On 122:21, okay? It's 122:21 as I sit here right now recording this video. I hypothesize that they're going to make Chris Ethan's father. And that's going to be how. Ethan, I know Chris is like 40 something, maybe 50 something. He's aging pretty well from what I've seen. How are you continuously making these games while simultaneously making remakes? Claire is in her 20s right now, but you're going to put Chris in this game for no reason. You literally could have had not a single person, but you had to put Chris in there because you were trying to get our money, the Resident Evil fans' money. You weren't trying to get just regular old humbums that play Warzone. You ain't trying to get the people that just play Call of Duty. You're trying to get the people that play Resident Evil games. And that's the only reason why you're putting any person that we know in this. That's it. Because you could have just had Ethan be that's it. Like, you had to shoehorn. You had to freaking shoehorn Chris Redfield in the final act of 7. So now he has to be attached to Ethan this whole time. And then I saw a screenshot of like Chris holding a baby. And it's just like, that better not be Ethan. Come on, man. Like I said, stop making your story go long when you weren't even prepared for this. If you prepare for it, like, let me think. The Avengers, X-Men, all those things, we care about their kids. We would care about their kids because it's a whole universe. Resident Evil is a franchise. It may have its own universe, but we don't care about the children. We don't care about Albert Wesker's children. I don't care about Jake Mueller. I don't. I cared about Albert Wesker. It's not a universe. It's a collective. It's a collective of games. It's not a universe like the MC universe. Alright? Like, you can't make us care about Chris's kids. And if Chris is Ethan's father, I already know that what they're going to do. They're going to kill off Chris. Then y'all really going to be up without a paddle. Like, you're going to be up crap creek. Because, like I said in my video about the recasting of the reboot or whatever, like, and when they say reboot, they don't know what they're doing. So just go in there with, I have no idea what this is going to be about, because they don't know what they're doing. They don't have any people that like this game or have ever played this game on the other side. They don't have people hiring people who know about this game. They're just trying to make their bucks off of us. That should offend you dearly. and you should not give them your money. Already having every single person on Twitter simping for this tall woman when she is what's wrong with she, along with other things. Resident Evil 4 is when it went downhill. It became more actiony and less suspense. The reason why people came back for Ethan's story in 7 wasn't because Ethan was such a great character that he needs another game. He should have died, really. But honestly, it was because we didn't even know Chris was going to be in 7. Or that stupid gun that was named after Wesker. It's like, nice callback, dude. He's dead. Nice callback. But whatever. It wasn't a good callback at all. It was a terrible callback. A callback, you know what the callbacks were? Using typewriters. That's a callback. That's a good callback. Using typewriters. This whole game came about prior to the new generation, But this action is just too much. And it looks like Far Cry. A lot of people are saying that this new Resident Evil looks like Far Cry. It absolutely does. It looks like, not Far Cry, Devil May Cry. It absolutely doesn't look like a Resident Evil game. It looks like I'm going to be very disappointed, and it looks like I'm going to be upset because Chris is going to die. I already see it. I'm already hypothesizing that Chris is going to die. And that's annoying because he didn't die in 6. He didn't die in 6. And if he was going to die anywhere, he should have died in 6. But he didn't, because Pierce saved his life because he was already turning into a monster and all that. I didn't care about Pierce because you didn't make us care. You can't just have someone in... Okay, so one reason why I love Resident Evil Code Veronica is because it's so layered. There's in Resident Evil, I forgot to finish because I'm going everywhere. But I said you have to have zombies, you have to have puzzles, and you have to have tracing back. We always had to trail back to find something or go in some door that we couldn't open before. Those are the 3 things you must have in a Resident Evil game for it to matter to me. And since 3, we haven't had that. Since Resident Evil Code Veronica, we haven't had that. Code Veronica was the final frontier of that was your magnum opus. Honestly. And y'all are refusing to make it because what? You're afraid that someone's going to get a little upset? You're not afraid to be racist. Like, not have any black people in your game at all, except the dude that dies and his guts come out. Even in Resident Evil Code Veronica, there's a black guy who dies. He gets eaten by the big gulp worm. Y'all aren't afraid to be racist. So what's the problem? People are born an ethnicity or a race. People aren't born gay or straight. We just are. But it's real interesting that they get more coverage and more, we don't want to mess with them. But y'all are just fine messing with black people. Y'all are just fine messing with Asian people. Ada Wong is the only Asian in her Ada Wong, really? Ada Wong. She has to have some Wong name, Wong Chitong. Like, y'all always do that. Always. It's not like they even met her in any sort of Asian country. She was just there with everyone else. Just like Cho in Harry Potter. Like, her name had to be Cho. Everyone else's name is Phillips Whittlebottom, but her name's Cho. Okay. I don't know. Okay. I don't know. I'm just gonna... It really annoys me because I love Resident Evil so much. And it's just like, to see it die, it's just so horrible. The people who are coming into this, the few people that are going to come in here that didn't know nothing about Resident Evil, are going to say this game is great because it looks great and it plays great. I already see that it's going to be a very good, greatly executed game. It's just going to be a bad Resident Evil game. Y'all don't know what you're doing. You really need to hire people who know what they're doing. You really need to hire people who knew this game when it came out. You really do. It doesn't have to be me, but it could just be anybody, you know? It could be someone who's actually qualified, someone who's went to school for however long you need, someone to go to school for, to make a stupid game and make billions and billions of dollars off of just a name instead of actual franchise and things that matter. But yeah, I had to get on here and say this. I had to talk about it because it really makes me upset. I am so sick of seeing people standing this girl, this tall woman, when she's basically, every Resident Evil game has a big person that's like, that's one thing that I would give a bonus of what should be in the game. Every game had a BOW that chased the protagonist around, whether it be Nemesis, the Tyrant, the G-Tyrant, William Birkin. It was someone. Always someone. And as time went by, they started turning more into just mashes of flesh. And y'all don't even have people that are gonna just draw properly. And now we have this very great woman that looks like she's regal and a dominatrix. And that's how y'all are gonna try to make your bread and butter. I already see it. It's super annoying. Hopefully she turns into a monster or something at the end. Something to make it worth me looking at. Hopefully not just a ball of flesh with eyes that you can shoot, that you know you have to shoot. And another thing, how about stop making just bullet sponge bosses? You didn't used to have that. You actually had to do stuff. In Resident Evil Code Veronica, there are multiple enemies with different designs that weren't just masses of flesh or creatures that were just duplicated. You know, the zombies actually had different hairstyles, different ethnicities, you know. One actually looked like Albert Wesker. I think y'all were so lazy that you just revamped his thing and put some blood on his design. But even then, there was still some sort of diversity when it came to the enemies, you know. There were the BOWs that were made of frogs, there were the monkeys that were jumping around in Zero. Zero's another one that y'all have yet to touch for some reason. Is it because Rebecca Chambers is small and you don't want to get quarter of a man upset? Like, so we're going to have this little girl. She can't possibly do anything. Like, are we really going to do that? Are we really going to act like we can't just have Rebecca Chambers and Billy Cohen in the same... They were in the same game and they were like tag teaming. That was the best game. One of the best games. Right next to Code Veronica. Code Veronica, Nosferatu, that boss fight was so delicious. I cannot believe you guys. It's honestly unbelievable. I'm really done. I can't do it anymore. I'm just going to leave y'all with the 3 things because I kind of went off key the first time I was talking about it. The 3 things that every Resident Evil game must have for me to care. 1, puzzles. Yes, puzzles. Freaking get smart. 2, zombies. Not just balls of flesh or molten flesh that just scoots across the floor. Zombies. And I don't mean people who have control of their body, who are just the enemies. I mean zombies. Mindless zombies. I'm so sick of these there can be BOWs that are controlled, but they have to be monsters, creatures, beasts. I want to be afraid. I haven't been afraid of these games in years. I was afraid to go in rooms in Code Veronica because there were things that would jump out at you. The long, langular man with the one arm that was long that would grab you. Y'all just don't make games like you used to. What's wrong with you? Someone had to die. Someone who was making these games really had to die. And then whoever picked up the pieces were just trash. Because that's what I feel like happened. And 3, must have backtracking. Always. Every Resident Evil game we've ever had to play until 4, there was backtracking. bonus round of things that also need to be in this. But I will accept, if you have all three of those things, I will accept that these things are not here. A BOW that is large, that chases the protagonist. In every game we have had that as well, until 4. Then y'all started playing games with these, whatever, the dude with the chainsaws. And it's just like, that's not the same. Sorry. Oopsies. It's not the same. It's not the same. And where did Umbrella go? Like, Umbrella was kind of in 7, but, like, what are we doing in Village? Like, really, what are we doing in Village that has anything to do with Umbrella? This where we came from. The whole reason why we're doing all this, the whole reason why zombies and Resident Evil, the resident that was evil was Umbrella. Do you guys not understand what Resident Evil means? Resident Evil, the evil resident. It was the Umbrella Corporation. The corporate, this whole game is about evil corporations. So why haven't we had a game in a while having to do with evil corporations? I'm done. And I'm fine. I'm fine if we don't have like mansions. Some people will be like, oh, we need mansions. I could care less about mansions, really. That it was in like that. The first one, it was like there were mansions in the first one and there was mansions in the other one. But like, honestly, like mansions don't have to be a necessity. In all reality, I really think it's a scum move to just take a little pieces from what was in the other games and make it into something else. Come up with your own stories. How about that? Do something else. I'm a writer. If you need a writer, hit me up, you know? Like, I am so sick of these stupid timelines. Like, y'all are really ruining this game for me. Y'all ruined it when Albert Wesker died. Like, I accepted for literally full throttle, butt cheeks wide, and y'all straight up disappointed me in 5. And then the one that everyone universally hates has a black woman protagonist. How about that? Y'all did that on purpose, because y'all know Sheva Alomar ain't got nothing to do with the reason why no one likes this game. It's just the icing on the cake for y'all to give. Y'all love to have scapegoats. That's why with The Last of Us, y'all put that transgender girl in there. Y'all did that so that there would be, oh, let me put all that on that one transgender girl, rather than, okay, the plot's not as good as the first one, or this, that, and the other. Y'all didn't talk about the designs or the glitches. Y'all talked about the transgender girl. But whatever, you know? Like, Resident Evil, The Village is going to be bad. I already hypothesized that they're going to kill off Chris or someone that we care about. And they're going to be like, here's the new era, I don't want to see Ethan. Stop with Ethan. He can die in this game for all I care. He can die in this game for all I care. I'm so done with Ethan. We don't see his face. I don't need to see his face. I don't care about his face anymore. The moment y'all made it to where in 7, I had to choose that girl who was trying to kill me the whole time, other than the girl that was trying to help me. And then if I did give her the serum, she was just going to die anyway. I was done with Ethan. Because I already knew that you guys were going to bring her back. Because why would you make it to where you have to save his wife or whatever she is? Mia? I don't know what her name is. Because I don't care. 7, the only reason why 7 was a good game is because you guys stole from every horror movie trope. You stole every horror movie trope imaginable, from The Grudge to Jigsaw. And it's great. It's just a crappy Resident Evil game. Crappy. Don't want it. Hate to see it. Hate it. I haven't enjoyed a Resident Evil game ever since Resident Evil Code Veronica. Resident Evil 0 is great too, but y'all, for some reason, ain't touching that because Rebecca Chambers is the main protagonist. I'm just done, you know?